Hello everyone, and welcome to Chess with M&M. Today we will see a game happen between the World Championship Magnus Carlsen and the GM Li Chao in 2018. And in this game we will see how Magnus is thinking, and we will see how the attacking is the best way to defending. So let's get started. Carlsen with the white pieces and Chao with the black pieces. Carlsen started by d4, queen pawn opening, knight to f6 by Chao, c4 and g6, preparing to put his bishop on this diagonal, and f3 by Carlsen. f3 preparing to play e4 and taking the center, and here Chao played d5. d5, we're seeing Chao going to the ground defense against queen pawn opening. C takes on d5, knight takes on d5, and e4. e4 taking the center from the black, and knight to b6. And here the Grunfeld defense idea is giving the white the center for a few moves, while black castling and playing bishop to g7, and then black's idea is hitting the center by c5, our e5, our f5, and then black playing knight to c6, queen to e7, and then working on the side which gonna white's king gonna castle on it. So this is the idea from the defense. Here after knight to b6, white played knight to c3, developing the knight, bishop to g7, threatening the pawn on d4, bishop to e3, protecting the pawn and castling by black. And here Carlsen played queen to d2. And now the white's plan is castling and then playing bishop to e2, preparing to g4 with the bishop, and then playing g4, and then h4, and then h5, and then opening the file for the rook, opening the h file for the rook on h1, and then bringing the queen to the file, and then giving the king checkmate. This is the plan which white gonna work on it. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, but this is what gonna Carlsen work on it. So after queen to d2, knight to c6 by Chao, threatening the pawn on d4, castling and protecting the pawn by Carlsen. And here Chao played one of the three moves which we said, and it is f5. f5, trying to open the file for the rook on the f8 by taking, or if you take on f5, e takes on f5, I'm gonna take by the bishop, and I will develop my bishop on this nice diagonal. So for this reason here Carlsen played e5. e5 blocking the way in front this bishop on g7, and not opening the file for your rook on f8, and not developing your bishop to the f5. So e5 is a perfect move from Carlsen. Knight to b4. Knight to b4 making a pressure on a2 square and opening the way for the pawn on c to play c6, to play c5 in the future, and hitting the center. And here Carlsen played knight to h3. Knight to h3, preparing to develop his knight on the f2 or on the f4 in the future, and queen to e8. Queen to e8, preparing to play queen to f7 and threatening the pawn on a2. So for this reason, here Carlsen played queen to b1, protecting the pawn before get attacked. And here Chao played a5. a5, here Chao started taking the space, and Chao's plan is a5, and then a4, and then a3, and taking and opening the file and giving a checkmate for Carlsen. And let's see who will gonna win, and who will gonna make his plan first. Carlsen with the white pieces on the king's side, or Chao in the queen on the queen side. Let's see. And here Carlsen played bishop to e2. Bishop to e2, supporting g4 square for any g4 in the future, and c6 by Li Chao. c6 controlling d5 square for any d5 in the future from the white, and rook to c1 by Carlsen. Rook to c1, keep eye on keep eye on c5 square for any c5 in the future, to block any c5 in the future, and keeping eye on c6 pawn for any b5 in the future. So here, the rook on c1 is more useful from the rook on d1. King to h8. King to h8, the idea from king to h8 is going away from any checks maybe be in the future from the a to g8 diagonal, and the same idea Carlsen played king to a1. King to a1, the same idea going from any checks from this diagonal after example f4 and bishop to f5 with check. And here Chao played bishop to e6. Bishop to e6 making a lot of pressure on a2 square. Knight to f4 by Carlsen threatening the bishop, and queen to f7. Queen to f7 protecting the bishop and threatening the pawn on a2. Now here the expected move is knight takes on e6 or a3 to protecting the pawn, but Carlsen here played h4. Now the idea from h4 or the Carlsen's idea from h4 is distracting the black by taking the pawns while he attacking his king on the h8, and this is what we will see now. And here Chao said, okay, it's a free move, it's a free pawn, let's just take it. Bishop takes on a2, and here Carlsen played h5, threatening knight takes on g6. Example, if you played here rook to a7. I'm gonna play knight takes on g6. You can't take by the pawn. If you take by the pawn, I'm gonna take by the pawn h takes on g6 with check, and then you will lose your queen in the next move. So here you can take it by the pawn. You have to move your king, and then I'm gonna take your rook. So for this reason, here Chao played king to g8. King to g8, you can't take now on g6. If you take it, I'm gonna take by the pawn. You don't have h6 on g6 with check, because now my king is on the g8. So here after king to g8, Carlsen played h takes on g6. H takes on g6 opened the file, the h file for his rook, and now he want to put his queen on h2 to giving a checkmate for the king. So for this reason here, Carlsen played g4, making way for the queen to coming to h2 and then to h7 and mate. So here Chao played bishop to the b3, bishop to b3, keep going on his plan, opening the file for the rook after bishop to b3 and a4 and a3 and takes. He keep going on his plan, and bishop to d1 by Carlsen. Bishop to d1 not to trading the bishops, but for making a way for the queen, as we said. a4, keep going on his plan, want to play a3 and taking and open the fire for his rook, and queen to h2 by Carlsen, threatening mate in 1. So here you have to move your rook or your queen. Rook f to d8, queen to h7 check, king to f8, and here Carlsen played amazing move. Pause the video and try to find the move that Carlsen played. If you found the move, congratulations, you are so good player. The move is d5. d5, it's amazing move. What's the idea from this move? Let's see. Now here Carlsen want to play knight takes on g6. Knight takes on g6, but the problem is knight takes on g6, and after king to e8. Now Chao's king can escape to d7 and then to c8 and then to queen side. So for this reason here, Carlsen want to protect to controlling d7 square by e6, but now e6 is not able because there is two pieces protecting this square. So for this reason here, Carlsen played d5. Now the idea from d5 is closing the way for this bishop to protecting e6 pawn and threatening the knight on c4 on b6. Sorry, threatening the knight on b6. If you take by the bishop to keep controlling e6 pawn, I will take your knight for free. So and if you take it by one of the knights, example, if you take if you take by the knight, knight takes on knight takes on d5, I will play e6 here, e6, and you are in trouble now. Now why? Because here I'm threatening your queen. You cannot move your queen to anywhere. If you move your queen to f6, example, okay, I'm gonna play knight takes on g6 check, knight takes on g6 check. You have to play king to e8, and then I'm gonna play queen to g8 check. You have to block with the bishop, and then I'm gonna play king to h8 threatening takes, and then takes by the rook, checkmate. Threatening takes, if you have to take by the queen, and then I will take by the rook, and it will be a checkmate. So for this reason, you cannot go to f8, and if you go to the e8, I will play knight takes on g6. Knight takes on g6. Your king has no way to escape, so you have to take my knight with the queen. Queen takes on g6, and queen takes on g6, threatening mate in one. There is no way to protect the mate. So for this reason, you can go to the e2 square all, and you can go to the to g8 square too, because now I can take on the g6 knight takes on g6 with check. After king to e8, I will take your queen for free. Queen takes on g8, f blocking with the bishop to f8, and queen to takes on f8. It will be a mate. So for this reason, you cannot take by the one of the knights, and you can take by the pawn for the reasons we said before. And here you can take by the bishop, because you will lose your knight on b6. So for this reason here, Li Chao played knight to c4. Knight to c4, threatening the knight on the bishop on e3, and trying to making some counter attack. But here Carlsen kept going on his plan and didn't care for the bishop on e3, and played knight takes on g6. Knight takes on g6, king to e8, and e6. E6 not allow e6, controlling d7 square, and not allow the king to escape, and threatening the queen, and the queen has no space to go. The queen cannot go to the g8, because there is a queen controlling this square, and cannot go to the f8, because there is knight controlling this square, and he can go to the f6 for the reason we said before. Queen to g8 check, and after bishop to f8, rook to h8, and then take checkmate. So for this reason here, you lost your queen. And here Li Chao played a3. a3 is not easy move, because now if you played anything like g takes on f5, then it will be a mate in 2. After a takes on b2 with check, you have to go to the b1, king to b1, and rook to a1 will be a checkmate. So for this reason here, you have to not give the black time to playing a takes on b2. And for this reason here, Carlsen played e takes on f7 with check, so you have to move your king to d7, and knight to e5 with check. You as we said, you have to not give the black time to playing a takes on b2, so knight to e5 check, bishop takes on e5, and queen takes on f5 with check, king to c7. And here Carlsen played the best move in this position, and it is queen takes on f5. Queen takes on e5. Queen takes on e5 with check, forced the knight to taking on e5. Knight takes on e5. Now the knight take it on e5, so there is no mate, because now after a takes on b2, I can take by the king, and you don't have a knight to protecting this square. So after knight takes on e5, bishop takes on b3, a takes on b2, king takes on b2, and knight to d3. Here Li Chao trying to do something in the position, but now after king to b1, knight takes on c1, rook takes on c1, king to c8, d takes on c6, b takes on c6, and after f4, here in this position, Li Chao resigned the game. Why Li Chao resigned the game? Because now Carlsen's plan is so simple, and it is playing f5, then g5, and then g6, g7, and queen by f8. I'm bringing a queen by f8 or g8. So in this position, Li Chao just resigned the game, and this game is one of the most beautiful game Carlsen played in his life. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget us from the like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.